Hi everyone, my name is Paige and you are watching Elevate Filipino TV. It's the place where you want to be to discover possibilities, unlock your potential so that you can finally create a life and a business that you love. Joining me today is my dear friend Nicole Cruz. Nicole is the daughter of a Filipino immigrant and a life coach to first and second generation of immigrants of color.
Thanks, Paige. Thanks for having me.
So Nicole, for those viewers who may not know you yet, I'd love for you to be able to tell your story as to how you became a life coach to, people of color, particularly the immigrant demographic.
Sure. So being a life coach was a complete career transition for me in my early 30s. I had spent over a decade in corporate healthcare, doing program development, and really nothing to do with life coaching. But I realized in my early 30s, I got to a point where I just was not feeling fulfilled or happy. And there's this part of me that knew I was holding myself back from doing what I truly wanted to do. And so I took a leap. I quit my job. I downsized my 3-bedroom house to a suitcase. And my partner and I traveled the world for a year. And it's the first time I gave myself permission to explore, to be curious, to get back to what I wanted to do. And after a couple years of that exploration, what I realized was what I love doing is helping people achieve their goals and helping them believe and love and accept themselves. And all signs pointed to life coach. And so I jumped in, I started doing it, and I decided to focus on first and second generation immigrants of color. One, because I'm one of that demographic. And also in the life coaching industry, there's not much representation. They're mostly Caucasian and maybe serving Caucasian clients. And I really understood that there's just some nuances to our experience as immigrants and immigrant descendants that weren't being addressed by other life coaches.
So because you have been working with the immigrant demographic, right? I'm curious to find out, have you been seeing certain thought patterns or habitual patterns that often either would hold us back or maybe would help us, what actually serves us to be able to move forward and be successful in what we're trying to do?
Yes, completely. So because we're immigrants or immigrant descendants, we have a set of beliefs that I refer to as survival beliefs that I see. So where we really prioritize safety, security, financial stability, things that maybe, our parents or our grandparents that weren't promised to them growing up. And so, of course, that is something that we prioritize. And the great part of that is we're super resourceful and we do not shy away from hard work. We have an amazing work ethic. Where it might hold us back is I find that it's really difficult for us to believe that we can create anything that we want. That there's this, I refer to it this upper limit potential that we set in our minds, that we just believe we can only reach a certain level and that's all that we should aim for. And so what I really love helping our community do is to believe that they can create whatever they want for their future, and then to also support them in building the thoughts and the mindsets that will help them thrive rather than just survive.
So when you told your story that you packed your suitcase and just left, right? You basically dropped your current life and went into this exploration mode to find yourself as well, to find your purpose. How did your family react to that?
So I was really nervous to share it with them because, my whole life growing up, there were certain expectations, that, get the good grades, the good job, and the house. I had all those things. And I was basically saying, I'm leaving all of that. I was really pleasantly surprised that they were really supportive, that they said to go for it and to explore and to use that time to figure out what I really wanted to do. And I really appreciated that level of trust in me. there may be some other people who may have judged me, but at least for my immediate family, they were really supportive, and that helped just reinforce for me that this is something that I needed to do.
So Nicole, when you're working with your clients, I believe not a lot of people would be supportive if they made that transition. Have you encountered that experiences from your clients?
Yeah. So a lot of, one big thing that our community struggles with is we do not want to disappoint our family. We
Yeah.
do not want, we don't want to shame them. We feel a lot of guilt for actually pursuing something that would make us happy and fulfilled. And so I do help a lot of my clients through understanding where that comes from a place of compassion instead of a place of blame on, our parents or how we were brought up. And to really understand that actually the best way to honor our ancestors and to honor their sacrifices and their hard work is to live a life that's fulfilling and impactful for us, and what that looks like for us instead of what it might look like for what our parents want or our grandparents want for us. And I know that can be difficult, but it really doesn't serve anyone if we're living a life that we're not happy in.
I know, for example, for me, I relate to this because I'm also a daughter of an immigrant. And, I remember ultimately whenever I would ask my mom what her dreams are for me, how she envisions her kids, right? Just out of curiosity, she would always just say, I just want you to be happy, right? And as with any parent, they would pretty much say the same thing. I mean, if they're in the right frame of thinking, any parent would say, I just want my kid to be happy. A lot of our Filipino viewers here are also wanting to divert into a different career path, right? And like you said, a lot of that is tied into, I don't want to disappoint my family. And so I'm scared to actually go after what I want, right? So, how can you help someone? Obviously, not everyone who's going to be watching us are immigrants, right? But how can you speak to them in terms of transitioning that mindset that what you said, pursuing your dream is the best way to honor your ancestors' hard work. Could you share a little bit more about it in, I guess, in more of a layman's term, right? Like in such a way where anyone can understand it, especially if, let's say, maybe they haven't really dug deep into it, right?
Yeah.
How would you explain that notion?
Yeah. So a lot of the times we feel this not wanting to disappoint our family because we believe that a lot of times we place our self-worth into what other people think of us,
Mm,
into other people's opinions of us. And so, of course, if that's the case, we don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize that. And so what I would encourage anyone watching this who's struggling with this to do is to just reflect on what would it look like if you were to find that self-worth from within instead of outsourcing it to other people's opinions or your achievements. What would it feel like if you would just know that your worthiness is purely based on just you and not anything external to you? Now, I know growing up, that's not what we were taught. We were taught that you got to achieve and other people's opinions matter. But I really believe that your self-worth is innate. It
okay.
cannot be touched. And it's just something that you have. Um, and I know that in of itself is kind of a total brain shift and mindset shift. But when we start really taking back our power of what we think of ourselves, what we feel about ourselves, then all of the achievements and all of the external things are blessings on top of that, instead of de- depending our self-worth on all of those external things.
So a lot of Filipinos, especially immigrants, I know that they pride on being able to live in a different country, right?
Hmm.
And part of that is, being able to have the nice house, having the nice cars and whatnot. And when you look at your life before you became a life coach, in the eyes of probably, pretty much everyone, right? You've made it, right? Like you've got the house, you've got the family, you've made it. You've got
Yep.
the career, you've made it. And so when you decided to drop that, did you have any internal struggles? Like, I mean, obviously someone who's going through this may not be able to switch their mindset in an instant or overnight. I want to find out how you maneuvered through your own emotions when you were doing that transition.
Yeah, it's a transition for sure. And you know, people always ask me, what was the big thing that had made you change? And for me, it was a lot of small things that built up where, yeah, I had all the external markers of success, but I was living a life where I didn't know myself. I didn't like myself. I had all the things that were supposed to make me happy, but I wasn't. And it really took me um, just taking the risk to try something totally new to figure out if where I could find happiness and fulfillment. And so the ups and downs for me was a lot of self-doubt, a lot of imposter syndrome. Who am I to want to live this amazing life? Like, shouldn't I just keep doing the things that I've been told to do? And I just had to listen to this voice inside of me that was telling me there's something better for you. There's something bigger for you. You can make a bigger impact on the world. And it was a daily conscious choice to listen to that voice instead of
Mm-hmm.
my fear. Because I listened to my fear for 30 plus years. And while it looked nice on the outside, it didn't feel great on the inside. So you're right. It's not going to be an overnight thing. I am still constantly in transformation. And that's why I think having support and coaching or therapy or mentorship is so important, to have someone support you along the way, because you're basically like shattering your reality and building yourself back up, which takes time. But it's so worth it on the other side.
That's so powerful. What you said that it wasn't really it wasn't a walk in the park. You have all the markers of success externally, it looked good, but on the inside, it didn't feel good at all. That's really powerful. And you touched on something that's really important in the segment that I'm trying to do here with Elevate Filipino TV. And that is, right now, as a life coach, you serve as a coach and a mentor for a lot of people. But I'm curious to find out, what role did coaching or mentorship played in your life?
Yeah. So I hired a coach for myself, es- especially at the start of my business. And I thought I was hiring her for business strategy, but actually what she supported me in was mindset, was
Mm,
shifting my beliefs, because I was still in a place where I didn't know if I could do this. I was doubting that it could work. I was attaching my self-worth to the results of my business. And having that support to understand that all I could control is the love I put out there, the effort I put out there, and my worthiness is not dependent on the results of my business. She really helped me to cultivate that confidence from within. And so now I go into my coaching and my coaching sessions with these women, really knowing that I'm doing what I was called to do and what I was meant to do, and really coming from a place of not only confidence in myself, but confidence in them, as my clients, to be whole, be naturally resourceful. I'm not there to fix them. They have everything they need, and I'm just there to help guide them and help them trust their own answers.
if let's say you did not take that step to hire a coach, what do you think would change, when compared to where you are now?
Oh, I mean, the beauty about coaching is it just gets you to where you want to be quicker.
Okay.
Now, I probably could have gotten to this point without support, but it would have taken me so much longer. It would have taken a lot more struggle, and just having someone there to support me through it, I was able to get through those mindset obstacles quicker. I was able to reframe things quicker so that I didn't struggle as much, and I got to making an impact quicker for this community.
What are the detriments of figuring it out on your own, aside from slowing down? And how can you encourage someone to be able to accept help?
Yeah, so I find in our community, we are brought up with this mentality of, well, just figure it out yourself. Just do it yourself. Don't ask for help. And don't show anyone that you're struggling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just put on a happy face and get through it, which may serve us to a point. But, I would offer that it doesn't mean anything negative about you to get support and help. We can't go through our lives alone. We need the support of our community. And actually, because community is so important to Filipinos, getting support in a community is also an amazing way to get to where you want to be, with less struggle. And I know it's scary to invest in yourself because we're used to just giving to others, and actually hiring a coach or someone to help is investing in yourself. But I would also offer that in order to do what you want to do and give in a way that you want to give, you have to give to yourself first. You have to fill up your cup first. And so it doesn't mean anything wrong about you if you want support. And in order to get to somewhere different, you have to take different action. You can't just keep doing the same action you've been doing, because you'll just get stuck. And I've been there where I've been stuck and it doesn't feel great. So why not try something new and see if there's a different way to go about things?
That really struck to me when you were saying, as Filipinos, we're so used to actually giving to others, right? In fact, even immigrants, especially, they're notorious for, you're already here, you've got your own life, and you're still feeding generations upon generations, extended bloodlines and whatnot. So that really hit me. So I believe, it's such a powerful thing to really realize that investing in yourself is not selfish, right? If you have to fill your own cup, it's not selfish. So I know this segment is short, and a lot of viewers, I'm itching to still ask you so much more questions. And in order for us to know more a little bit about what you do and your work, I know that you prepared a free gift for our viewers. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. So what I really love to support my clients in doing is dreaming big. And I know that's very difficult for our community. So I've created a workbook where you can get clarity on your thriving vision. And in that, I ask you some questions, and I also address the obstacles that get in the way of us dreaming big. And so I'm so happy to share that with your audience and hopefully support them in really dreaming the life that they want.
That's so exciting. So guys, we will be linking that free gift down below in this video. And I had so much breakthrough just speaking with Nicole here. And I know that not everyone watching this are immigrants, but I'm pretty sure, because migrating is such a common thing in our culture, someone probably close to you who are immigrants, right? And there's a lot in here that you can definitely relate to, even if you're not immigrant yourself. So yeah, definitely check out that free gift. And I'd love to find out, what were your key takeaways from this conversation? Send us an email. Nicole and I would love to hear from you. So Nicole, do you have any parting message before we say goodbye to our viewers today?
Well, Paige, just thank you so much for doing this, for giving Filipinos around the world a platform to share their gifts. What I would offer to your audience is that it's okay to want more for yourself. It's okay to want to feel happy and fulfilled. That doesn't have to be an extra on top of your life. It can totally be a part of it. And that it's okay to ask for support. And I'm here for you.
I'm excited. That's awesome. It's such an honor to be able to have you be part of this season 1 of Elevate Filipino TV. And once again, guys, this is our special guest, Nicole. Definitely check her out. I'll have all of her links down below. And if you love this episode, make sure you share it with your friends and your loved ones so that together we can rise and we can shift our culture and elevate as Filipinos. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Paige, and I'll see you on the next episode.